Hi my dear friends, and welcome back to another Star Wars news update. In today's video we're going to be talking about ILM, the Book of Boba Fett, and changes to Yoda on Dagobah. But without much further ado, and without any more jibber jabber, let's dive straight into it. So we begin with a big announcement from ILM via Variety. They're opening a new fully functional studio in Mumbai, India. Let's dive into this. The visual effects division of Lucasfilm is headquartered in San Francisco, but has studios in Vancouver, London, Singapore and Sydney. But it's about to open a new full pipeline studio, operating full visual effects and animation services for television and film in Mumbai to gain access to talent base in the region. ILM SVP and General Manager Janet Lewin, who will oversee lead operations, said the following: "With 5 global studios consistently operating at capacity and continuing to grow, the time was right for ILM to expand once again and to meet the industry's increasing demand for high-caliber visual effects. ILM is in high demand from top filmmakers and showrunners around the world. Being able to add more top talent now in their new studio in India is going to help them increase and grow, and in their own words, to do the highest quality work on even more exciting shows." They say they're particularly excited about the talent in India and establishing a top-tier full-service studio, just like the ones in Sydney, London, Vancouver, Singapore and San Francisco. And to be honest guys, this expansion is going to be game-changing for Lucasfilm, notably that they plan to add stagecraft technology like the Volume, and that means they're going to be pumping out the shows at a much faster rate, given that they can shoot multiple ones at the same time. That's what an expansion and an increase in studios allows them to do. Variety says the studio behind the groundbreaking Stagecraft LED system, which brought us shows like The Mandalorian, Kenobi and the Book of Boba Fett, continues to grow. There are over 2,500 artists working globally for ILM, as it continues to offer award-winning VFX and animation. ILM's Mumbai studio will work on projects of all shapes and sizes, including live-action Star Wars, animated series and feature films, television, streaming and themed attractions. The studio will also hire across the board, with openings already posted on their careers page. The way I see it guys is the more capacity there is, the more shows can be worked on at the same time. Really exciting stuff. And so now guys, let's talk about the Book of Boba Fett. A screenshot has emerged online of a guest list for an upcoming panel at UCLA Maya and Renee Luskin Conference Center. The names on the list imply that it's a Lucasfilm table read or a Lucasfilm meeting of some kind, with the likes of Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau listed prominently. But it's the other names that feature on the list that are really quite exciting: Morrison, Ming-Na, Jim Cummings, who voiced Hondo Ohnaka, and Simon Pegg, who voiced Dengar in the Clone Wars and played Unkar Plutt in The Force Awakens, not to mention the voice of the Clone Army himself, D. Bradley Baker. Now the legitimacy of this screenshot is called into question when the original poster did not give any context or a source to where they found it, and on the conference center's website I couldn't find this page. However, having said that, the format and listing with the green check marks are the legitimate way the site organizes guest lists. And that means if it is legit, whoever posted this is either well connected to Lucasfilm or works at the venue itself. Now at first glance you'd assume this is something related to the Book of Boba Fett. Morrison, Ming-Na, Jon and Dave are the dead giveaways, so could this be linked to a season 2? If it is, I wonder why they're using a centre like this, considering no public panel with these names has been announced to take place in this centre in the next couple of weeks. If you remember guys, during the Book of Boba Fett, Simon Pegg expressed he wants to play Dengar in live action, and Jim Cummings recently spoke about wanting Jon Favreau to insert Hondo into The Mandalorian to continue his story after Rebels, so those names appearing could be suggesting that has indeed happened, although I can't imagine Jim actually playing a live action version of his character, just voicing him. Alternatively, if this is a table read, maybe it's for a secret animation project related to Mando. Either way my dear friends, take this with a huge pinch of salt. I would love it to be true, but there's always a chance that it's not. But share your thoughts on this in the comments down below. I mean, just the prospect of a second season of Boba gets me really excited. The opportunities it could bring are tantalizing. Original trilogy bounty hunters like Dengar, Boba and Fennec leaving Tatooine, going to somewhere like Nal Hutta, having more of the twins who were used in a very weird way in season 1, and even getting involved with more crime syndicates, those who are bigger than the Pikes. For Temuera Morrison's sake, and for the sake of Boba fans, I want it to happen. And so now my dear Mandalorians, let's talk about Yoda, because Lucasfilm, who've introduced a new comic series focusing on his life on Dagobah, have now provided some new details in a reference book that tells us a little bit more about what he got up to during his exile. During the second panel at New York Comic Con 2022, Lucasfilm Publishing revealed a 2-page spread from Star Wars 100 Objects by Kristen Baver, a book that's currently slated to hit bookstores on April 4th of next year. The book pulls back the curtain on Yoda's Blistle, a musical instrument that Yoda used to maintain his psychological well-being during his exile on the swamp world of Dagobah. That's right guys, Yoda basically played the blues on Dagobah, can you imagine that? I suspect the cheeky little guy also used to serenade Yaddle during their days on Coruscant. She used to love those tunes and that's how she fell in love with him. I'm just joking of course, but the bit about Dagobah is true. They've actually included a whole section where Yoda's playing some tunes to maintain his sanity that is now absolutely canon. Until now, Star Wars fans have known very little about the Blistle, with even its Wikipedia page amounting to a mere blurb, stating only that it was in fact a very small instrument that Yoda owned. So here's the excerpt from the book. Dagobah's lush ecosystem, strong in the Force, also provided Yoda with the means to create the Blistle. A tiny pipe instrument from his days of isolation suggests that Yoda instinctively understood the psychological benefits of creating an artifact and experimenting a moment of joy, despite the widespread turmoil afflicting the galaxy. It's intriguing to think of Yoda always deeply in touch with the Force, alone on Dagobah, yet surrounded by landscape teeming with life, but still finding some solace in music, adding his own melody to the chorus of the natural world around him. Now, even though this is canon, I would never have thought that Yoda on Dagobah would have dabbled in music. And now all I'm wondering is, during Luke's time on Dagobah, did Yoda play for him? Now Yoda's Blistle is nothing new, he even wears it in The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. He constructed it on Dagobah, and now Lucasfilm are adding context to that story. Some fans like that, others don't, but the Blistle is nothing new, we're just now hearing more about it. The reference book does add a few interesting tidbits too, saying that while we often see Jedi Masters as being very stoic, very in tune with the Force, they did have a more human side too, a more grounded self that also included enjoying art and culture, in this case music. I don't know about you guys, but I think it's really cute. Let me know in the comments down below what you think of these changes, and do you think Disney Star Wars is adding too much, tampering too much with content we already know? Just some food for thought. And before I go, my dear friends, tomorrow is Andor episode 6. As always, you can expect my full episode breakdown and review. Hopefully it's a good one. We're at the halfway point of season 1, and as such, on Patreon, in my most recent mega stream as I call them, I spoke to a good friend about what we can expect in upcoming episodes. If you want the full video, click the link in the description down below. If you like this video, please be sure to give me a big fat thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video. May the Force be with you always. I'm Star Wars Meg. Have a good one.